The Delta Flight Museum today. And this is the green chair on the first airplane.
If you were someone who wanted to shade, we actually would loan you a shaver to use on board the airplane. Employees actually purchase the plane for the company. This is what first class looked like. It's not a Concorde, it's actually a Boeing SST.
All the history, all the memorabilia, all the airplane models, uniforms. This is sitting at row 1, right up to the nose of the 747. So this is what the 747 floor looks like.
Pulleys and wires.
I'm at the Delta Airline Flight Operations Center. Hi, I am at the Atlanta Delta Flight Museum today. Now, with me here is Mr. Sylvester, and he's the supervisor at the Flight Museum today, and he's giving me a tour about the great Delta Flight Museum and looking at every single history of Delta Airlines until today. So the first start point was Texas, was Dallas.
That is right, yep.
And this is the green chair on the first airplane when it carried passengers.
Yeah. All right. So Delta, unbeknownst to a lot of people, started as a crop dusting airline, and some people don't understand what crop dusting is. That's when you fly low and fast over the crops and you disperse some kind of chemical onto the crops. And the bug that Delta was trying to eradicate itself or eradicate the crops of was the boll weevil. And the boll weevil eats the soft part of cotton. So that's how Delta got its start with a company called Huff Dalen Dusters. Due to some unfortunate incidents, the government then gets involved and they start to regulate. So this is like the beginning of regulation. So you get pilots begin to get trained. You have two-way radio communication, weather forecasting. At one point, if you were a Delta customer and you wanted to type a letter, we would actually loan you a typewriter.
Wow.
Or if you were someone who wanted to shade, we actually would loan you a shaver to use on board the airplane. This is the Spirit of Delta, our very first 767-200 aircraft. And what makes this plane so special is that the employees actually purchased the plane for the company. And because of the contraction of the industry, many of the companies that had been around for a long time did not quite know how to operate in a deregulated environment. So they started to, some went out of business. Some got a lot smaller, so 3 flight attendants came up with this idea, and the employees actually purchased this 767 for the company. This is what first class looked like when the plane was still flying. So this is what the interior looked like with our first class exactly as it is.
How many years this 767-200 has been in service with Delta?
This particular plane flew from 1982 until 2006. Delivered to Delta from Boeing in the classic widget livery. We were the official airline of the Summer Olympic Games in Atlanta. It was painted to look like this. When Delta turned 75 years old in 2004, we went retro and they painted the Spirit of Delta to look like this.
All on flight 102. All on plane.
All on ship number
102.
102. Yes. Back in the day, we also had a livery that was called Colors in Motion, or some people used to refer to it as wavy gravy. So the plane was painted to look like this, and then it was painted back in the original colors. What you're looking at here is not a Concorde. It's actually a Boeing SST.
What a fantastic idea, and instead of having more seats out here, and with a twin aisle 767 you can have showcase around all the history, all the memorabilia, all the airplane models, uniforms, and just showcasing the era and many eras of Delta until today. Wow! It still operates just like original. Oh, look at that, the L1011. I recognize how open the space is, especially in the middle. There's no bins, and it creates a large amount of headroom in space. First class, dialing to the forward cabin, mid cabin, aft cabin, upper galley, and lower galley, downstairs galley.
Very first Convair 880 that ever flew. This is
the first Convair 880 prototype.
This was the Now here at the 747, this is referred to as ship 6301. This is the world's very first 747-400 aircraft ever built. This was the prototype aircraft from Boeing. It originally flew April 29th of 1988, so it's been around for 30 years now.
This one's got extra legroom, more than your original coach, I think.
That is true.
Yeah, this is very comfy here. If they haven't got a chance to fly on one of those, and it's not too late, they can still come here to sit here to enjoy the atmosphere, to dream about that 747 flight.
For some reason, a lot of people like to see what the lavatories look like. So
oh yeah.
Galley here. This airplane had 7 galleys and 13 lavatories. And in the front of the cabin, the A zone, we have 14 lie-flat seats here in the front of the airplane, where you can actually be seated in front of the flight deck because it is located upstairs, which is the next stop.
This is sitting at row 1, right up to the nose of the 747. As you know, the curvature of the 74, the cockpit is actually upstairs. The pilot actually sits behind you. So if you are sitting in this seat here, you have the greatest privacy, and also you have the greatest view, that because of the curvature, you see a little bit more than the normal horizontal view. So this is one of the greatest seats on the 747, because you even sit in front, ahead of the pilot.
Here we are in the back of the 747 experience, and as you can see, we have taken out all of the seats of the plane, and it really does show the immensity of this aircraft and how much space is actually back here once all of this.
So this is what the 747 floor looks like. Correct. Underneath it.
Underneath, we are actually standing just over the center fuel tank. And the ductwork that you see here is part of basically the HVAC system that feeds the heating and the cooling to the passengers at their seats.
Wow, I didn't know what the 74 below the floor looks like, but thanks to coming here, I get it.
Absolutely. And in temperatures moderate, you can also see pulleys and wires, and those pulley pedals, these pulleys and cables actually move. Look down into the cargo hold. And what we're looking at is the bulk bin, where all of the last minute bags are placed, as well as any live animals that are being shipped would go in this area here.
Yeah.
What you're looking at is the pressure dome. This is where the fuselage all meets together into one piece. So this is the very back part of the pressure dome. Not something you really want to see when you're flying, but this is what it looks like.
This is a quote by the 747 father, Joe Sutherland, who designed the 747 and enables to fly and change the world. I can't look at the 747 without seeing it as a living piece of technological sculpture, a winged trophy dedicated to the men and women who put their hearts and soul into conceiving and building it.
All right, so we're heading out to the wing walk. Let's go.
A wing walk?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the museum.
Here of the museum.
I'm actually standing on top of the wing. The engine's right hand below me here.
Welcome to the upper deck.
Wow. You can see everything from here behind you. Look at this.
So this area was originally the galley.
Yes, the galley, yes.
Creates extra space up here at the top to look out.
Oh, look at that, how fantastic.
So on the upper deck there are 14 Delta One seats, lie flat seats.
This is 73 Alpha, the first row behind a bulkhead wall and on the upper deck of the 747. I heard from so many Delta frequent flyers, this is the preferred seats because it is very private. It has the element of a private jet. You're in your little cocoon, little world. This is like the best maintained 747 I've ever seen, and you guys did a great job, Delta.
Thank you so much.
It blows my mind because I didn't expect to see things beyond normally a passenger plane has. So this one is really great for the future generation to understand great aviation. You've been a great guy. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Inside the altimeter where the engine test and the thrust and air will come through this tunnel here and then it goes out to the back. So this is not a usual place where you normally be at.
So in normal testing, keep it here, take out 5 minutes. Well, it depends on what the manual calls out, but right now we're kind of doing just
I'm at the Delta Airline Flight Operations Center, and this is the map where all the Delta airplanes currently in the air in the United States. As you can see, a lot of them are in the Georgia, Atlanta area, at the Chui here, at New York, and there's another hub at Salt Lake City here. And out of like many thousands of flights a day, there's only one canceled flight today, Amsterdam to Atlanta A330 due to mechanical. And there's 3 diverted flights showing on the monitor. So everything is very clear, very transparent.
So something very unique to Atlanta Airport is we have this midfield taxiway that's in between the 2 runways. And after aircraft arrive on that runway there, they can continue to taxi and use this taxiway that's actually set 30 feet
so without
below
crossing the active departure runway, they come across the end and going into the concourse gate.
Correct. So at the busiest airport in the world, keeping those departures flowing is imperative. So this taxiway gives us that functionality. Looking at space weather, they're looking at winds a lot. Primarily, they're looking at volcanic ash.
Wow, people work 24/7 here. It's like holiday, but work as usual.